Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the forecast office here in Sullivan. Steve Henson, myself, I'm Paul Collar, meteorologist here. We're going to give you an overview of expected conditions through next weekend. Steve here is going to really key on some of the details of this weekend, and then what I'm going to do is try and break it all down through next weekend. So we're going to kind of take a close look here in the short term, and Steve is going to delve into some of those details. And then I'm going to try and break it down day by day as best as we can at this point. So for now, we're just going to kind of let some more people come on here, and we will then get underway here. Hopefully you are enjoying this beautiful weather here, lots of sunshine, and we've certainly been fortunate to have had some pretty decent weather around here the last week or so. So with that, I think we'll turn it over to Steve here, and he's going to delve into the weekend a little bit. So Steve, why don't you take it away?
Okay. Well, hello there. What we're expecting Saturday is for very warm temperatures to push into southern Wisconsin. High temperatures probably in the lower 90s in south central Wisconsin, upper 80s in the southeast, maybe a little cooler along Lake Michigan. Then by Sunday, temperatures will be rising even warmer, get rather hot. Mid-90s are expected across a good part of southern Wisconsin. And there is thunderstorms that are going to be expected. And right now, you can see that it's mainly across northern Wisconsin. This is for Sunday afternoon. We're expecting most of the precipitation to be across northern Wisconsin. However, there is a small chance that they would end up a little bit farther south, and just kind of go briefly why. The hot weather's pretty much being driven by the upper air pattern. The jet stream is now moved, or will be moving, north of the Lake Superior area. This is a core of about 130 to 150 mile an hour winds across southern Canada up at 40,000 feet. And so any thunderstorms that do develop across the plains, Minnesota, will have a tendency to move from west to east across Wisconsin. Again, right now we're kind of expecting mainly northern Wisconsin on Sunday. However, if you can look at like about 5,000 feet, winds are out of the southwest, which is bringing the hot temperatures and the more humid conditions into southern Wisconsin. Those will be pushing up into southern Wisconsin and central Wisconsin, and there's a chance that maybe some of those thunderstorms may push a kind of an outflow boundary further south and interact with the real strong winds coming up from the southwest, and there's a small chance that we may get some thunderstorms, especially in the northern parts of our area, across the Dells to Sheboygan. So just kind of keep an eye on that on Sunday. And then for actually Monday and Tuesday, conditions are being fairly similar. Very warm, humid air, maybe a chance of thunderstorms, but again, mainly to the north. And then eventually those chances will be moving in for midweek, but for that we'll give you Paul.
Okay, so we're going to try and summarize this all for you today. So what I did is I just went in and created a sort of a day-by-day look at conditions from tomorrow, Saturday, June 10th, through Sunday, June 18th. So we're going to just go day by day. So first of all, tomorrow, Saturday, June 10th, we're looking at highs mostly in the upper 80s, heat indices upper 80s to low 90s, storm potential looking dry. Shelley's writing in here and asking about the dew points. So basically the high temperatures and the dew points sort of work together to create the heat indices. But to specifically answer your question, we're going to see dew points rising through the 60s over the next several days. Probably won't notice too much increase in moisture tomorrow, but come Sunday into the early and middle part of this week, you're going to really start to feel that moisture in the air. So that's a good question, Shelley. So we'll move on now to Sunday. And we're looking at high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s, and the heat indices getting into that low to mid 90 range. And as Steve was talking about, we're looking at that storm potential to be mainly in northern and central Wisconsin on Sunday. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on, because as Steve said, some of this could drift into, say, the northern part of our forecast area, say like from Green Lake over towards Sheboygan. So those areas might be a little bit more vulnerable on Sunday. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for now, we're thinking for much of southern Wisconsin, mainly just dry, hot, humid on Sunday. Moving ahead to Monday, June 12th, we're looking at warmer temperatures, 88 to 93. The heat indices, again, pushing 90 to 95, and maybe some areas could get a little bit higher, but for now we're thinking that's going to be the range. And again, the storm potential looks greatest in northern and central Wisconsin. And Taylor, at this time, no. As far as any heat advisories being issued, at this time we think we will remain below the criteria, which is a heat index of 100. So if you have a heat index of 100 degrees, that would warrant an advisory being issued, or several days, 4 or more days of heat indices in the mid-90s. So for now, we're thinking we won't need an advisory, but we'll keep an eye on it. And then we move on to Tuesday, the 13th. We're looking at highs 85 to 92, low to mid-90s on the heat indices. So again, if anything, it looks to me like we're going to have a few days of these warmer heat indices, something to keep an eye on. But again, that criteria for 4 days or more, Steve, if I'm not mistaken, that's 95 or higher?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Tuesday, the storm potential, there is a low chance for thunderstorms on Tuesday. But again, the main threats we want to emphasize for Sunday through Tuesday is just going to be the very warm to hot and increasingly humid air mass. Now, when we move into Wednesday, the 14th, we're talking about highs in the mid to upper 80s, and heat indices also will be in the mid to upper 80s. And there's a good chance of thunderstorms, and some of these could be severe. So if you're wondering, okay, over the next week or so, when's our best chance of severe weather? Right now, we're keying on Wednesday into Wednesday evening. So for those of you with outdoor plans, any kind of outdoor plans at all, Wednesday is a good day to kind of put in the back of your mind as I need to keep an eye to the sky and be ready in case watches are issued, warnings are issued. It's a little early to get into details of that, but we're keeping an eye on a system that has some potential to produce some severe weather around here on Wednesday, June 14th, heading into the evening hours. And Jennifer, what kind of severe? It's a great question. At this point, really, we can't get into specifics, but we will be certainly updating you on that as we get closer, okay? But for now, damaging winds, large hail would be the primary threats. But we'll keep you updated on that as we get closer to the event. So then, once we get through that system, that key system of the week, now we're into Thursday. And Thursday the 15th, pretty comfortable temperatures, pretty comfortable heat indices behind this system. So I think we'll get a little punch of drier air that's going to help scour out that humid air, and we'll be looking at mainly dry conditions. So Thursday, right now, the 15th, is looking pretty good. Now we go to Friday, June 16th, and again, comfortable air mass. You notice that when the highs and the heat indices are the same and they're in the 80s, that's not so bad. So there is still a potential now with another weaker system of some thunderstorms coming back into the forecast. Now our confidence a week plus out gets a little bit low, but there is some suggestion by some of our forecast models that we could see another chance of some showers and storms creeping back in here on Friday. But the air mass at this point looks fairly comfortable. So now next weekend, so we're talking the 17th and 18th. The trends right now, unfortunately, look a little bit on the unsettled side. Now, again, it's still a ways out. The good news, I guess you could say, is that the potential for any major heat wave or anything like that looks pretty low. But in terms of rainfall potential, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. It's still a ways off. But the indication we have now is, chance of showers and thunderstorms coming back into the forecast. So is all this just sort of confusing or not clear to you? I tried to summarize it on one page here. So this is from tomorrow through Sunday the 18th. Hot and humid tomorrow through Tuesday the 13th, with storm chances favoring northern and central Wisconsin as well during that period. The greatest severe risk, as we were talking about, is shaping up for Wednesday into Wednesday evening. So that's the time frame to really kind of zero in on for where there could be some active weather. Thursday the 15th, I hope that remains the dry day. We'll need a dry day. And then Friday the 16th through Sunday the 18th, again unsettled, still some uncertainty. So at that point, I'd like to see, Steve, do you have anything further to add? Or
maybe just to say that, for next weekend, even though it's on the unsettled side, we're probably not talking about all-day type rains.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point. It's one of these situations where if you have outdoor plans, this isn't going to be one of these early spring or fall systems where it's a complete washout. It's going to be more of the splash and dash variety, have an umbrella handy, and maybe some sunscreen as well. So that's the latest from the forecast office here in Sullivan. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we will be back to give you another broadcast at some point in the not-too-distant future. So have a good rest of the day, and so long from the National Weather Service office in Sullivan.